Hello, today I'm planting my outdoor tomatoes. I've produced quite a lot this year. I've planted out my tomatoes in the greenhouse and I've got quite a few spares. So as you can't have too many tomatoes, I'm going to plant quite a few outdoors. I've been watching the news recently and I've noticed that we're in line, in the UK at least, to quite likely have a very hot summer. Something called super El Nino, not just an El Nino, but a super one, is almost certain to happen. That usually brings us a long, hot, dry summer. So it's an ideal environment for growing tomatoes. I'm in Cornwall and one summer in two I grow a good crop. I still persist with them because I really do enjoy the tomatoes, but this year I'm going to bang a load in. I'll show you my techniques. I've messed around over the years with several different ways of growing tomatoes outdoors, and I'll show you what I do now, which I think is the best of the techniques. Firstly, I grow them in soil. I've messed around growing tomatoes in pots and in grow bags outdoors. I find that although growing them in a greenhouse, they can do quite well in a confined root space. I found that outdoors, because it's a less convivial growing environment, they really seem to do need the extra root run and the extra nourishment that growing in soil gives them. So I always plant my tomatoes in the same soil beds that I'm growing my vegetables in. Second thing is you want to grow a blight resistant variety. Greenhouse tomatoes, a greenhouse is a potentially warmer, drier environment. You're not so likely to get blight, but outdoors, if we have the right kind of weather, and we're talking warm and sort of muggy, something I get a lot here in Cornwall, blight can just devastate your tomatoes. I always grow varieties called Crimson. This particular, in fact, this isn't a Crimson Crush. This one here is a Crimson Crush, which is the standard Crimson variety. It's a good eater and a good cooker. Almost never gets blight. These ones here are Crimson Cherries, which is just a cherry tomato version of the same. Again, very blight resistant. I've had no problems growing these for several years running now in my damp, blight prone Cornish climate. The other thing you need to do if you're growing tomatoes, particularly if, like me, you like to get them started early, today's the 3rd of May, is to provide some sort of protection to the plants as they're growing up. You can get a wind or come in, even as far as mid-June, a storm come in. It not only knocks the plants around, it can really burn the leaves, and you just need, certainly in the early stages of growing your tomato plants outdoors, you need to protect them. I usually wrap them in either polythene or growing fleece. Either works quite well. The technique I actually use, and I'll come to these in a minute, is I grow them in these cages, and I wrap the fleece all around the cages, which enables me to lift it up and down as the plants grow as well. Coming onto the cages, you're probably wondering why I've got a load of sheep netting. This is something that will be recognisable to any farmer. It is sheep fencing. They call it sheep fencing because it's 6-inch holes in it, fairly stiff netting. You can get it from any agricultural supply shop. You also get something very similar in pet stores for dog fencing, they call it. So if you live in a town, that might be your best bet. I got these cages from an American gardening book, so my apologies to any American viewers if you already know all about these. But I'd never seen anything like them when I saw the pictures in the book. I made some up. I made these about 5 years ago, and absolutely brilliant. The idea is you stand the cage on the ground, and you can have them in a row like this, so that you tie them together. They support each other quite well, and you peg them down to the ground. So you've got a stable structure. And as the plant grows up through the middle of the cage, it just pokes its leaves out through the holes in the cage, and it supports the whole thing as it grows. It basically comes out the top here, and then you've actually got a tree nut or something like that. And you can always put a cane up the middle if you feel it needs some extra support. But these cages are absolutely brilliant. How I made them, they're just a length of sheep netting tied up like that, and literally I've just twisted wire to hold them together, to join them together at the ends. You can probably Just see the arrangement there for the joints. See, as simple as that. And they'll last year after year. I haven't fitted these yet, but when I put my tomatoes in, I'll do some filming then to show the finished article, how I support the cages, and how it all works. With regard to potential problems, if you protect from the wind and you have a reasonable summer and you grow a blight resistant variety, you'll only have, in my experience, one other problem to deal with outdoor tomatoes that you might not have experienced before if you've only grown them in a greenhouse, and that is snails. They don't generally eat the tomato plants themselves because the leaves are quite mildly toxic, I believe, but they go absolutely crazy for the fruit, and they'll eat both green tomatoes and ripe tomatoes. So I find my main job as summer comes on and my crop is starting to mature is fetching snails off them. Damn plants all the time. And obviously if you take the lower leaves off, that gives them less to climb up as well. But if you put your growing bed, or you site your tomatoes in as snail-free a location as possible. In my case, that means in the middle of the garden, not near the edges where there's piles of bricks and places where snails might hang out. That'll give you half a chance. And also, if they've got an area of mown grass or say brick to cross to get to where you're growing your tomatoes, that's an advantage as well. But do take care with regard to snails and tomatoes. It's the number one enemy, and I should think really a more distressing sight than any other form of snail damage is to see your tomatoes day after day being eaten by these wretched things. But if you follow the precautions I've just explained to you, hopefully you'll keep snail damage to a minimum. Anyway, I'm going to get on and plant these now, and I'll show you the results in a minute. Okay, and that's the job done. The tomatoes are in their cages with a fleece around them. Let's have a quick look around. I'll show you what I've done. Just peering down from the top here, you can see they're nice and snug and hopefully well protected. The tomatoes went in first, followed by the cages, which I've already demonstrated. And then I built a structure around them. You can probably see there's quite an elaborate system of canes. I'll just explain. There's one along the top to tie them all together, fastened to the cages with plant ties. And then there's some diagonals which just give it some bracing. Diagonals brace in several directions. You probably see I've got some down here as well, bracing it from side to side. The whole thing makes for a very strong structure that will hopefully stand the worst of the gales. I've put fleece around the bottom. This is standard horticultural fleece, and it's just fastened on, you can see there, with clothes pegs. The whole thing is hopefully going to keep the tomatoes snug, warm and well protected. As the tomatoes grow up, I'll raise the fleece up. You can see that there's quite a height of it there that I can use. And eventually when the weather's really good in July, I'll just remove the fleece, and then the tomatoes will be growing outdoors and thoroughly enjoying the sunshine. And hopefully we'll have a very good crop. Outdoor tomatoes can be very, very productive, and they have some advantages over their indoor companions. Mainly they need a lot less fussing over. I'm watering my tomatoes almost daily during the summertime, but these ones, obviously, unless you get a dry spell, which we may well do with El Nino coming this summer, they will more or less look after themselves. The one requirement, as I said, is just to keep an eye on the slugs.